the first emperor of China defeated every kingdom standing in his way. But one enemy terrified him more than any army ever could: death. So he buried nearly 8,000 life-size soldiers beneath the earth. They were built to defend him in a war beyond the grave. More than 2,000 years later, many are still standing. And the emperor they guarded may still lie inside an unopened tomb. This is Qin Shi Huang, the man who united China and tried to conquer death. His story begins when China was not one country. It was a battlefield divided among powerful states fighting for survival. This violent age is now called the Warring States period. Kings raised huge armies, built walls, formed alliances, and betrayed them quickly. Into this world, a boy named Ying was born in 259 BCE. He belonged to the royal family of Qin, a western state growing dangerously strong. When Ying was 13, he became king of Qin. A young king sat on the throne, but experienced officials controlled the government. Plots, rival families, and questions about his parentage threatened his position. As he grew older, Ying began removing the people who controlled him. By his early 20s, he held real power over Qin. Qin rewarded farmers who produced food and soldiers who brought victories. It organized families, taxes, weapons, and military service with unusual precision. Government officials were promoted for results, not simply for noble birth. These ideas came from a political philosophy often called legalism. Legalism assumed people obeyed clear rewards and severe punishments. It valued order, discipline, and the power of the state above personal freedom. That system could be brutally harsh, but it made Qin extremely efficient. Jing now turned that efficiency against every rival kingdom. His generals attacked one state after another with massive disciplined armies. Han fell first, followed by Zhao, Wei, Chu, Yan, and Qi. Some campaigns required direct battles, while others used bribery, spies, and division. It won through planning, logistics, agriculture, engineering, and years of pressure. By 221 BCE, the last rival state had fallen. For the first time, one ruler controlled the major kingdoms of ancient China. Ying believed the old title of king was no longer great enough. He created a new title for himself, meaning a First August Emperor. History remembers that title as Qin Shi Huang. He expected his empire to continue through 10,000 generations. Instead of allowing conquered nobles to keep their lands, he removed their power. He divided the empire into commanderies governed by officials he could appoint. Those officials answered to the central government, not to local royal families. This decision created a model later Chinese dynasties would repeatedly use. Qin Shi Huang also wanted the empire to function as one system. Different states had used different coins, measurements, laws, and writing styles. The emperor standardized weights and measures across his new empire. He promoted a common currency and a standardized form of written Chinese. A message written in one region could now be understood far away. Merchants could compare prices without translating several local measuring systems. He also expanded roads and canals connecting distant parts of the empire. Even the width of vehicle axles became more consistent across the country. These reforms helped turn conquered territories into a functioning imperial state. Unity brought practical benefits, but it demanded an enormous human cost. Millions of people faced taxes, military service, construction work, and strict laws. Workers built palaces, roads, canals, frontier defenses, and the emperor's giant tomb. Qin forces also connected and extended older northern defensive walls. These projects helped create early foundations associated with the Great Wall. They were not the brick walls tourists usually see today. Still, the Qin frontier works became symbols of imperial power and suffering. People could be punished for crimes committed by relatives or neighbors. Small violations sometimes brought forced labor, mutilation, or other severe penalties. That attitude eventually placed Qin Shi Huang against many traditional scholars. In 213 BCE, his government ordered the destruction of selected private books. Practical works on medicine, farming, and similar subjects were generally protected. Historical and philosophical writings that encouraged criticism were especially dangerous. Later accounts also accused him of burying hundreds of scholars alive. Historians still debate exactly what happened and whom the victims really were. The emperor tried to control both the empire and the ideas inside it. Several assassination attempts showed how many enemies his conquests had created. The most famous involved Jing, an assassin sent by the state of Yan. Jing approached the king while presenting a map and a severed enemy head. A poisoned dagger was hidden inside the rolled map. When the map opened, Jing grabbed the weapon and attacked. The future emperor escaped after a desperate chase inside the palace. Even the strongest ruler could die in a single unexpected moment. Qin Shi Huang became increasingly obsessed with avoiding death. He sent expeditions searching for legendary islands and people who knew immortality. Advisors offered strange medicines and dangerous substances as possible life-extending treatments. Some of those mixtures probably contained mercury. Instead of protecting him, such treatments may have damaged his health. While chasing eternal life, he was already constructing a second world underground. Work on his mausoleum began soon after he became king. The complex stood near Mount Li, not far from modern Xi'an. It was an underground version of the emperor's world. Ancient historian Sima Qian described palaces, towers, treasures, and mechanical defenses. He also wrote of rivers and seas made from flowing mercury. Modern testing has found unusually high mercury levels around the burial mound. That supports part of the ancient description, but the central tomb remains unopened. Archaeologists fear excavation could destroy materials that current technology cannot preserve. The famous clay army stands in separate pits east of the main tomb. Its soldiers face outward, as if guarding the emperor from approaching enemies. The army includes infantry, archers, cavalrymen, officers, horses, and chariots. Thousands of figures have been found, with more likely still underground. Many estimates place the complete force near 8,000 soldiers. Each warrior is roughly life-size, and some are slightly larger. Their ranks, armor, hairstyles, and poses reveal different military roles. From a distance, the army looks perfectly uniform. Up close, the faces show remarkable differences in age, expression, and detail. Craftsmen likely used standardized parts, then adjusted them by hand. Today, the warriors appear mostly gray and brown. Originally, many wore bright paint in red, blue, purple, green, and other colors. Much of that color vanished quickly after exposure to dry air. Real bronze weapons were placed in the warriors' hands. Researchers have found swords, spearheads, arrowheads, crossbow parts, and other equipment. It was a military world built to continue the emperor's power after death. Ancient writers claimed hundreds of thousands of laborers worked on the entire complex. That number may be impossible to confirm, but the scale was clearly enormous. Prisoners, conscripted workers, craftsmen, engineers, and officials all contributed. For many of them, the emperor's dream of immortality meant years of suffering. In 210 BCE, Qin Shi Huang died during an imperial inspection tour. He was only 49 years old. Officials reportedly hid his death while the royal convoy traveled toward the capital. Summer heat made the body smell, so carts of fish traveled nearby. Meanwhile, powerful court officials manipulated the succession. The emperor's capable eldest son, Fu Su, was ordered to take his own life. A younger son, Hu Hai, became the second emperor. He proved unable to control the system his father had created. Rebellions spread as exhausted people turned against Qin rule. Generals, former nobles, farmers, and forced laborers joined the chaos. By 206 BCE, the Qin dynasty had collapsed. The empire meant to last 10,000 generations survived only a few years. Yet Qin Shi Huang's political structure did not disappear with his family. The Han dynasty kept many Qin ideas while softening some of its harshest methods. Central government, standard systems, roads, and written administration remained powerful tools. Even the name China may be connected to the name Qin. That makes Qin Shi Huang both a destroyer and a founder. He ended old kingdoms and created the framework of a lasting imperial tradition. He connected regions, standardized daily life, and transformed the meaning of Chinese rulership. He also showed how quickly order becomes oppression when one man controls everything. His Terracotta Army captures that contradiction better than any written record. It is magnificent, organized, silent, and built through almost unimaginable power. Every soldier promises that the emperor's rule will continue forever. But the soldiers survived while his dynasty disappeared. Qin Shi Huang conquered the known world around him, but he never conquered death. Instead, his fear of death created one of history's greatest archaeological wonders. Qin Shi Huang wanted his power to last for 10,000 generations. His dynasty vanished, but his underground army made him impossible to forget. Even now, the unopened tomb may be hiding the greatest secret of his reign. If history's most powerful rulers fascinate you, subscribe and join us for the next story. Then tell us which ruler, warrior, or lost empire we should uncover next.